Okay, so tech, right, can be a little intimidating.
It can seem like a different language.
But today we're going to talk about something pretty cool, even if you don't know how to code.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of citizen developers?
Citizen developers.
It's basically the idea that anyone can build apps.
You don't need to be a coder.
Exactly. And this is a huge trend right now.
And this is something that's actually changing how companies operate and work and innovate.
Big time. Yeah.
So we're doing a deep dive today, and we're basing this on an article from the Cloud Institute.
Right.
And it's called The Rise of the Citizen Developer, Revolutionizing Cloud Computing in 2024.
Revolutionizing is right.
So we call it a revolution?
They do, and for good reason.
What's so revolutionary about it?
Well, think about it. Companies can build apps in a fraction of the time now with these tools.
Really?
Instead of taking months, it takes weeks, maybe even days.
Wow.
And that speed is a huge deal in today's business world.
Yeah, things move so fast.
Exactly.
So for businesses, it's like a
Total game changer.
total game changer.
Yeah.
But what about the people?
The everyday people.
The everyday people,
Yeah.
the everyday teams? How does this change things for them?
So imagine this. You have an idea for an app,
Right.
but you don't know how to code.
Right.
Now with citizen development, that's not a barrier anymore.
Oh, so you can just make the app.
You can build it yourself.
Wow.
That's a huge shift in how companies can come up with new ideas and stay competitive.
So they talk about this concept called IT freedom in the article.
Yes.
Is that because IT departments are finally getting a break?
You got it. No more endless help desk tickets for every little thing.
That's great for IT.
It is. With citizen developers, teams can actually solve their own tech problems themselves.
So IT is free to work on the bigger stuff.
The complex stuff, exactly. It benefits everyone.
So it's not just about speed or freeing up IT. It's also about being more agile,
Right.
being able to adapt and keep up with the constant changes.
That's key in today's world.
And the article gives this crazy statistic.
Oh, yeah. What is it?
41% of companies are already using these low-code platforms.
41%. That's a lot.
And it's going to jump to 65% by next year.
So it's not just a trend, it's the future.
This is happening now.
It is.
This isn't something far off in the future.
Oh.
This is happening now.
It's here.
So what kind of tools are making this all possible?
Well, if you look at the bigger picture, you can't ignore the role of the major cloud platform.
Okay, so the big ones,
AWS, Azure, Google Cloud.
they're all involved.
They see the potential in citizen development.
So they're not just watching.
No, they're actively involved.
They're players in the game.
Exactly. They're not just watching from the sidelines.
You're jumping in.
They are.
So what are they doing specifically?
Well, take Azure, for example. They've actually built AI capabilities right into their Power Platform.
So anyone can use AI.
Even if you don't know how to code, you can build an app with AI features.
Wow, AI for the everyday person.
That's the power of this.
That's pretty remarkable.
It is.
Okay, so we've talked about the big picture, but what about the specific tools?
Yeah, let's dive into that.
What are the platforms that people are using?
Well, the article highlights a few key players. Microsoft's Power Platform is a big one.
Microsoft Power Platform. Okay.
It's like the Swiss Army knife of citizen development.
The Swiss Army knife.
Yeah, it's got everything you need.
Like what?
Well, there's Power Apps for building apps, Power Automate for automating workflows, Power BI for analyzing data, and even Power Virtual Agents for building chatbots.
So it's like a one-stop shop for citizen developers.
Pretty much.
But are there other platforms that maybe do things a little differently or focus on specific niches?
Definitely AWS Honeycode, for example, is all about simplicity.
Okay, so no code.
No code at all, just drag, drop, and build.
Sounds easy enough.
And the best part is it's seamlessly integrated with all of AWS's powerful cloud services.
Wait, hold on. For those of us who don't speak fluent cloud, what does that actually mean?
So think of it like this. You can connect your no-code app to things like DynamoDB and S3.
DynamoDB and S3.
Yeah, DynamoDB is like a supercharged database, and S3 is where you can store all sorts of files, images, videos, you name it,
So I can just connect my app to those.
without writing a single line of code.
Wow, that's pretty amazing.
It is.
So what about Google? What are they doing in the citizen development space?
Well, Google has AppSheet,
AppSheet. Okay.
and it's perfect if you're already using Google Workspace.
Okay, so you're using Google Docs, Sheets, all that.
Exactly. You can build apps that work seamlessly with all those tools.
So it's a natural fit for Google fans.
You could say that.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we've got Microsoft, AWS, Google, all offering powerful platforms.
Yep.
Are there any other contenders in this citizen development arena?
There are a couple of other big names. Salesforce and ServiceNow are also stepping up their no-code game.
Really?
Yeah, they're both focusing on making workflow automation easier for non-coders.
So it's not just the cloud giants who are in on this.
Nope, it seems like everyone is realizing the power of citizen development.
It really does feel like this wave is gaining momentum and pulling everyone in.
Yeah. It's an exciting time to be in the tech world, that's for sure.
Okay, so we've talked about the big picture, the platforms, but what about the impact on companies themselves?
Right. How are things changing inside organizations because of citizen development?
Exactly.
Well, the Cloud Institute article highlights three major areas of impact.
3 areas.
Yeah, first, it's a huge driver of innovation.
Innovation.
Imagine empowering every employee to be a problem solver.
Not just the developers.
Exactly.
That's a lot of potential.
It is, and it can lead to a more creative and adaptable company.
So it's like unlocking all this hidden talent.
Exactly.
What about the financial impact?
Oh, yeah. Companies are seeing major cost savings with citizen development.
How so?
Well, they can rely less on traditional software developers, which can be expensive.
That makes sense.
Instead of outsourcing everything to IT, they're empowering people to build their own solutions.
So it's a win for innovation and a win for the budget.
Exactly.
What's the third big impact?
It all comes down to productivity.
Productivity.
When teams can build their own tools and automate their own processes, they can work much more efficiently.
So it's like giving everyone a personalized toolkit.
You got it.
Yeah.
It's about empowering people to work smarter, not harder.
Okay, so we've got all these amazing benefits: faster development, more innovation, lower costs, increased productivity.
It sounds pretty good, right?
But is there a catch?
Well, it's important to be realistic.
Of course.
While citizen development offers incredible potential, there are also challenges to consider.
Okay, so it's not all sunshine and roses.
Not exactly.
What are some of the challenges that organizations need to be aware of?
The article outlines 3 key risks.
Right, let's dive into those. What's the first one?
The first one is governance and compliance.
Okay, so what does that mean?
Well, when you have more people building apps, you need to make sure those apps meet security standards and data privacy rules.
That makes sense. You wouldn't want sensitive information just floating around out there.
Exactly.
What's the second challenge?
Security risks.
Oh.
If things aren't done properly, citizen-developed apps could accidentally create vulnerabilities.
And then hackers could get in.
That's the risk.
So you're not just protecting data from inside the company, but also from outside threats.
Right.
Okay, what's the third challenge?
Shadow IT.
Shadow IT.
What's that? It's basically when you have all these unofficial apps popping up all over the place.
Oh, so people are just building apps without anyone knowing.
Pretty much. And that can create chaos and data silos.
That sounds like a nightmare for a company.
It can be.
So what can companies do to prevent these problems?
The article talks about having a strong governance plan.
A governance plan.
Think of it like a set of guidelines and tools to help manage citizen development safely.
So what does that look like in practice?
Well, one example is using automated monitoring tools.
To keep an eye on things.
Yeah, to watch for any potential security risks in the apps being created.
It's like having a security guard for your apps.
Exactly.
What else can companies do?
Another good strategy is providing pre-approved templates for citizen developers.
So they don't have to start from scratch.
Right. The templates already incorporate best practices for security and compliance.
Oh, that's smart.
Anything else?
I think the most important thing is collaboration between IT and business teams.
So they work together.
Yeah, IT can provide guidance and oversight, while business users bring their knowledge of the problems they're trying to solve.
So it's about finding that balance between giving people the freedom to build and making sure everything is done safely and securely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You want to empower people, but you also need to have some control.
That makes sense. So the article is all about citizen development within companies, right?
Yeah,
But I'm curious, does any of this apply to individuals too?
that's a great question. And it's something the article touches on. What if you could create your own custom tools to manage your finances or organize your projects?
Or automate tasks in your hobbies?
Exactly. The possibilities are endless.
That's the kind of power that used to belong only to programmers.
Right, but now anyone can do it. It's pretty amazing when you think about it.
It is. It's a real shift in how we think about technology.
So we're not just consumers anymore.
We can be creators too.
I love that. So to wrap up this deep dive into citizen development, what's the key takeaway for our listeners?
I think the main message is that citizen development is here to stay.
It's not just a fad.
No, it's changing how we work and how companies innovate.
And it's even changing how we solve problems in our everyday lives.
Exactly. And while there are some challenges, the potential benefits are huge.
So we need to embrace this trend, but also be smart about it.
Right. We need to manage the risks, but also harness the incredible power of citizen development.
It's clear that this is a really important trend that's going to have a major impact on all of us.
It definitely is.
And it's exciting to think about all the possibilities that citizen development will unlock in the years to come.
It is. Who knows what amazing things people will create?
And maybe some of those creators will be our listeners.
That'd be fantastic.
So if you've ever thought about building an app, but felt intimidated by the technical side of things,
Now is the time to reconsider.
the tools are out there, the resources are available.
And you might just surprise yourself with what you can achieve.
So go out there, explore the world of low code and no code, and unleash your inner citizen developer.
That's what we like to hear.
And who knows, maybe our next deep dive will feature an app built by one of our listeners.
We can't wait to see what you create.